what I want out of the Flash movie. Next up on Just to Talk, and we're gonna just talk movies. Let's get into it. I want to talk about what I'm looking forward to seeing in the Flash film. It's not a surprise that I love talking comic book movies. I come from reading comic books. It's something that I love doing, but I do want to explore other films out there because there are other films that have come out that I want to discuss. But a lot of the newer films that I've been watching were more like big tentpole film, comic book movies, all that. I haven't been watching enough movies as of late that I would prefer to. And the movies that I did do, I'm behind on doing movie reviews on. Oh my gosh. But there are movies that I do want to talk about. But in particular, I want to talk about The Flash, because The Flash is approaching. There's a lot of controversy around it. I want to set aside the controversy because we can have other just talks about it if you want to hear more conversations about it and want to ask me specifics so I can really narrow down my thoughts for you guys. I really want to talk about what I want out of this Flash movie, given what we already know. First off, I really want a good Flash. I don't want this, even though Zack Snyder handled him a lot better in this version. I know that they didn't want him. I don't think Zack Snyder wanted him as, you know, I know some people want to say on the spectrum. I don't know if that's what they wanted. I always felt like he wanted a cockier, a different type of, like a young kid that just wanted to go fast, like been a little bit cooler. And I think at some point they wanted him to be the DCEU Spider-Man and want him more quirky. And I don't think that was the direction Zack Snyder initially grabbed Ezra Miller for. That might be his personality, or in the real world, or his real world personality might be a little more akin to that. But that's not the Flash I think that they intended on. And I know I get it off of just a small mild clip that we had, but I don't know. I just always feel like when you looked at the visualization of Barry Allen on the surveillance camera in BVS, nothing about his, even though it's a small amount of time, he didn't have any lines, but anything about his posture, how he looked, that's why they just cut all his hair off. I think he was more serious tone, more like his Nightmare self. I like Nightmare as our Nightmare Flash way better than this Flash that they gave us in the film, because I felt like that was more the type of Barry Allen that they wanted. But I felt like he kept him on like that, and then it behooved them to keep him like that in the Nightmare series, because a lot of things happened that made him like that. And maybe he was a little bit more, but I think the original Flash intent was more akin to that. But then now he shows up with a haircut and he's quirky. It was like, nah, I don't think that's initially what they wanted to do. I think that was a answer to their Tom Holland saying, let's massage your character into more of a Tom Holland character where he makes more jokes. He could be basically the comedy relief. He's more jokey. And you could argue there's more comic precedent for that. And if you ask me, I think that was notes directly probably from Jeff Johns at one point, before, you know, tragedy would strike. And if you ask me, he looked at that as an opportunity to turn this into his advantage, so he could basically pine for the Kevin Feige position, if you will, which basically Zack Snyder was for the universe. And I think he wanted to do that. And then, you know, there was business acumen towards that as well, because he wrote for a lot of DC comics, so he can employ a lot of his joints, so he could get royalties and money on the back end, utilizing his story and plot lines that he created. Smart business, but he, from what I understand, Jeff Johns is really about his comics, and he has a passion for it, and his comic knowledge is pretty sophisticated. So you would want a guy like that to help you with the connective tissue with the universes, and also adding Easter eggs and stuff like that. You would want a guy like that that's very well connected with the DC comics. So I always felt like that's probably why they kept him around. But in any event, what I want is a more, I feel like, again, closer to what Zach's, that the Nightmare Flash. You know what I'm saying? But cooler. So that we could just, he don't have to be so quirky and so weird and off-putting. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like he tries too hard with it. At times, I guess. But then again, the Josh Whedon, and again, I think Johns, he wanted more jokes and to pad it out with more jokes. So I think that the idea was to again make Ezra Miller more the comic relief. And again, I feel like that's not what he was hired to do. There was something else that he brought to the character, and I feel like I see it more. He owns the character so much more in the Nightmare sequences as Nightmare Flash. So much more. He seems a lot iller and more of a character that you would be like, yeah. And I think instead of going the comedic route, they should have made him cooler, chiller, just like a guy that I see things so fast that it's slow to me. I can move so fast that you start going slow to me. He should be on some other, like a different kind of guy. I can understand why they would have him a little giddy, but I don't know. I think he seemed like he enjoyed going fast. I think he would have just been like, I like going fast to separate myself from y'all. Y'all could have made him more like the cool Luke Perry loner type. You know what I mean? As opposed to, you know what I mean? Not saying make him a Luke Perry Flash, but like in terms of like a Wolverine, but in terms of like he's kind of like how he takes seeing speed and force and all of that, so you could kind of facilitate that directional path that you kind of wanted without having him be eccentric about it. He could have been chiller, just different. I just see things different. I notice things more. He's sharper, but he enjoys it, and that's, you know, I enjoy going fast. You feel me? I just want a cool, like a less extra trying, like nerdy type of like guy, like, because he almost borderlines a dork sometimes. Well, actually, I'm thinking of the Justice cut sometimes. I don't know how I'm doing that, but yeah, he was a lot more like that there. And the other one, he was a lot more tame than Zack Snyder's version. But you could tell he was trying to make him a little bit more, you know what I mean? That's why I think they cut his hair and all of that. I think they wanted to make him look a lot more, like I said, they wanted to navigate him away from that. What Zack Snyder did and make him more lighthearted. And I think cutting his hair and all of that was something that was think tanked out, or they may have had people look at him with the long hair, short hair, and said, yo, see, we had a focus group, cut the hair. And it is what it is. But I just want him to be more, like I said, less of that quirky shit. I want him to be in control. Like, Not saying that I get that he's the youngest I was about to say Avenger, youngest person from Justice League in this iteration. Between him and he might actually be. Now he might be around the same age as Ray Fisher's character, Cyborg. But I get that they wanted them to be the young ones, to bring in the kids. So he played himself down to be more of a kid, a child, as opposed to him being like a cool young guy that's just like going fast. And I think this shit is cool. Feel me? But in any event, what else I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to Michael Keaton, man. I mean, again, I know that people, when the rumors came out, Michael Keaton is going to try to take over Batfleck. Now everybody want to hate on Michael Keaton. If you didn't hear none of that, you would have just heard Michael Keaton was coming back. Everybody would have been just stoked about that, hype about that, just all over it about that. Why? Because this is something that no one would have seen coming. And it kind of facilitates the kid in you. 89 Batman, you kidding me? You bringing that back? Let's do it. And now I think a lot of that cachet, even though it's there, but it's not enough as it should be, is because, well, one, I mean, there's no surprise. We already know. But I don't think that's the issue. It's because you put it against the Snyderverse. And less said about that, the better. Because I want to focus on this. But I'm really interested to see what they could do with Michael Keaton. I want to know what their relationship is going to be like. And can they pull off the multiverse in this DCEU as it stands? And sell it to me, make it feel like it's all cohesive with all these characters that's been around before. Now, they may, like I said, I think they're just going to restructure the universe in a certain kind of way. Or they might just wipe out the whole DCEU like a lot of people are saying. I just want it to not be very... If I watch this Flash movie, I want this to still be a Flash movie. To tell a Flash tale. If it's gonna be earth shattering, let it still be centered around the Flash. I have no problem. I want to know what happened to Michael Keaton. I hope they have great monologues here and there peppered through when it's needed, but it has to be a Flash film, and I hope they keep it to that. Because now you have 2.5 hours, or at least 2 hours of dedicated towards his story, his arc, and you're going to have to sell people on the Flash, sell people on Ezra Miller. And the fact that I do believe that he didn't come in to be this type of character, that it might throw it off. But you know what? If it's him being him, it should be the thing to take him to the next level. It's just going to be his whole film now. And he's going to have to sell this. And if you ask me, I don't know how you can get him from, that eccentric thing to something a lot more tamed. But I'm thinking the Justice League version, I don't know why. The other one was a little bit more milder, so we could work with that. But if we got to make that the canon, the official canon, I like to think it is, but we need to make it the official canon. Throw that in there, let people want to see it, let it run for some time, or as much time as you can, but just so it can be on the screen, so at least people who are curious or just wanted to see it on the big screen can at least get to understand that this need garner enough interest for people to want to continue the Snyderverse. But again, we're here, and I want this again to be a Flash story. It has to remain entrenched in what the Flash is as a character and what he stands for. And on a lot of levels, I really do hope that that's the direction that they go in. But the WB, the track record could be very much flimsy. So we just have to stay tuned and hope so. But I really do hope that that happens. And also I hope that whoever this villain is, if it's an evil Barry, and that's going to be their rendition of Reverse Flash, sell me on this guy. Like, please sell me on this character. Or if you're going to give us a villain, I want a real good villain. We need to get back to what DC's real good at, and they can have some excellent villains and excellent rogues gallery. And I really do want to see that this universe, however this goes, we get that. And then we got Supergirl. Now, I don't know what variation of Supergirl this is. Whatever. I'm hearing fucking Zod is coming back. I don't know if the other lady that was with him is. I think she might. Either way you look at it, they're coming back. So I don't know what's going on if they're resetting the universe or what. But till we see it, we can speculate. But what I want is, I don't want this to be all about Supergirl, but I do want a good introduction that makes sense on how you could do this. And if she's from another multiverse than Tim Burton, which I like to think she is, great, because I don't see that costume fitting in that unless that's something that they give her when she crosses over from Batman's universe. And they have a nod to the Nicolas Cage Superman joint if she comes from Nicolas Cage universe. Now, if she comes from another universe outside of both of them, then that'd be cool, because she could fly right in. And that'd be dope. Like, you could just, you know,